Hello students, welcome to zoology class. Hope all of you are fine. Today, in continuation to my presentations on genetics, it's my third presentation on genetics and I will take the next topic, and that is inheritance pattern of color blindness in human beings. I have already taken up inheritance pattern of color hemophilia in human beings in my last presentation. So today I will take up color blindness inheritance in human beings. So what is color blindness? Color blindness is simply defined as a trouble in seeing or identifying colors like blue, green and red. And there are some rare cases where a person cannot see and identify any color at all. So color blindness is basically a disorder of having trouble in seeing or identifying the different colors. And a person with this disorder or syndrome also finds difficulties in differentiating the colors with shades. And this syndrome is called a color vision problem or color vision deficiency. In this disorder of color blindness, a person is unable to differentiate the different shades of the color. And this color blindness, it is most common sex-linked human disease, and it is a recessive sex-linked disease. And red color blindness is called protanopia and green color blindness is called as deuteranopia. So this is also a sex-linked recessive disease like hemophilia. And in this sex-linked recessive human disease or human disorder, there is a difficulty in differentiating or identifying the colors. And if a person having this disease is unable to identify or differentiate red color, then this red color blindness is known as protanopia. And if the person is unable to distinguish green color, then this green color blindness is called as deuteranopia. And this disorder of color blindness, it was discovered by an English chemist named John Dalton in the year 1798. And during the discovery, he was also suffering from this disorder of color blindness, and he wrote his first article about color blindness, which was based on his own experience. And color blindness is also called as daltonism, which is named after its discoverer, and who is John Dalton. So John Dalton discovered this color blindness disorder, and he was himself suffering from this disease, and he discovered this disorder in 1798. So this is the introduction about the color blindness. Then there are the types of color blindness. This syndrome occurs when 2 or 3 cone pigments, that is a red, blue and green, they are absent or damaged. In this type of color blindness, both the color and lightness vision is reduced to one dimension, and this results in total color blindness. So first type of color blindness is monochromacy. So in monochromacy, you see that this is the diagram showing the normal vision, and if the person is suffering from monochromacy, he or she is unable to see the colors totally. So in this type of disorder, 2 or 3 cone pigments which are present in our eyes, they are either absent or damaged. So first type of color blindness is monochromacy. Then second type of color blindness is dichromacy, and this syndrome occurs when only one of the cone pigments, red, blue and green, is absent or damaged. And in this type of color blindness, only the color vision is reduced to 2 dimensions. This results in partial color blindness. So in dichromacy type of color blindness, the person is not able to see the actual colors, but total blindness is not present there. So the cone pigments, they are reduced, but they are not totally damaged. So this is the color dimensions in the normal vision, and this is the color dimension in the person who is suffering from dichromacy type of the color blindness. So what are the causes of color blindness? And that you know that healthy human eye has a retina which contains two light sensitive cells, rod cells and cone cells. Rod cells are for low light and the cone cells are for normal and bright light and responsible for the color vision. The rod cells, they are responsible for the low light and the cone cells are responsible for normal and bright light. And color blindness is affected when these two light sensitive cells, that is the rods and cones, they fail to perform their functions. And there are many factors which cause color blindness or color vision problem in a person, and those factors can be damaged damage caused to brain or eye or to the nerve cells. It can be genetic disorder, or it can be the side effect of certain drugs, or the use of tobacco and alcohol can also lead to the damage of the rods and cone cells of the eye, which lead to the color blindness. So these are the causes of color blindness. That is, color blindness can be caused due to genetic disorder, or due to side effect of drugs, or the excessive use of tobacco and alcohol, or the cones and rod cells are damaged due to the brain or eye damage. So these are the causes of the color blindness. Then comes the symptoms of color blindness. So what are the symptoms of color blindness? That the person suffering from color blindness shows rapid eye movement, then sensitivity towards the bright light, then trouble in seeing colors and the brightness of the colors, and problem in identifying the differences between the shades of different colors. So these are the symptoms of color blindness. Then how to diagnose the color blindness? That is, what is the diagnosis of color blindness? How we can know that a person is suffering from color blindness? There are many tests available to diagnose and to measure the color vision deficiency in a person, and doctors can easily diagnose color blindness by using the Ishihara plate test. So Ishihara plate test is basically, there are different plates which are shown in this diagram, which diagnose that a person is suffering from color blindness or not. So this test of Ishihara plate test, which is most commonly used for routine color vision screening, and this is present in all eye clinics and in schools even. There are totally 38 plates of circles which are created by irregular colored dots using two or more colors. And then during this diagnosis, the patients are asked to identify the number on the plate, and if the person is able to distinguish the colors or the numbers on the plate, then the person is okay, and otherwise the person is suffering from color blindness. And the second test for diagnosing the color blindness is screening test, and this test is mainly used to detect and determine the type and severity of the color blindness. So the main test for diagnosis of the color blindness is Ishihara plate test, and this screening test is used only to determine the type and the severity of the problem. So this is the screening test. So these are the two tests for diagnosing the color blindness. Then comes the treatment of color blindness. So currently there is no treatment for this color blindness syndrome, and photographic frames or filters or eyeglasses with contact lenses can be used to certain extent to improve the dimension between some colors, but it cannot be totally treated. And a properly balanced diet can be followed to improve the symptoms of color blindness. And the patients with the color blindness syndrome face many difficulties in their daily life. They may face difficulty in choosing fresh fruits, vegetables, flowers, differentiating the pulses, and driving a car, or even selecting clothes and many more things. So, the most common type of inherited color blindness is red and green color blindness. So, the most common color blindness is of red color and the green color. And as per the studies and medical records, red and green color blindness is seen more in men than in women, and the blue color blindness is seen both in men and women. So red and green color blindness is common in men as compared to the women, and the blue color blindness is seen equally in both men as well as in women. So basically there is no treatment of color blindness, but only we can improve by certain measures this type of syndrome of color blindness. Now the main topic of today's presentation is inheritance pattern of color blindness, that how color blindness is inherited from one generation to other generation, because you know that color blindness is the sex linked recessive disorder in human beings. The color blindness is a common hereditary or inherited condition, which means it is usually passed down from your parents. Red or green color blindness is passed from mother to son on the 23rd chromosome, that is the sex chromosome, because it is determined because of the sex. And the color blind gene is carried on one of the X chromosomes. And since men have only one X chromosome, and if his X chromosome carries the color blindness gene, then he will be color blind. And a woman can have either two normal X chromosomes so that she will not be color blind, or it can be the carrier of the color blindness. Or woman can have one normal X and one color blind carrying X chromosome, and in this case she will be a carrier, or rarely she will inherit a color blind X chromosome from her father and a color blind X chromosome from her mother, and then she will be color blind herself. She will pass on color blindness to all her sons if this is the case, but this is rare. So you know that the chromosomes are responsible for, actually the sex chromosome is responsible, and that is the X sex chromosome which is responsible for color blindness. And you know that the man has only one X chromosome, and if that X chromosome has the gene for color blindness, then the male will be color blind. But in case of women, if one X chromosome has the gene for the color blindness, then she will be a carrier of this color blindness. And if the female has gene for color blindness on both the X chromosomes, then she will be color blindness. So the color blindness is carried from woman to next generation if she is having color blindness gene on one X chromosome, and she will suffer from color blindness if she has color blindness gene on both the X chromosomes. Then this is the cross showing the inheritance pattern of color blindness in human beings. Suppose if a normal female having XX chromosome is mated with a color blind man, that is the man having gene for color blindness on his X chromosome, then these are the gametes which are formed, and in the first generation this will be the outcome. And so This is the carrier girl or the carrier female having color blindness gene on one of the X chromosome. This is the normal boy. This is again the normal boy, and this is the carrier girl. So we can say, we can conclude that if a normal female is mated with a colorblind man, then in first generation all the boys will be normal and all the girls will be carrier. Carrier means they are having gene for color blindness on their 1X chromosome. Then next comes the cross, in which the colorblind female, and it is mated with normal man. So this colorblind female is having gene for color blindness on both the chromosomes, and if this combination is there, that is a colorblind female is mated with normal man, then these are the types of gametes which are formed, and in the first generation this is the outcome. This is the carrier female having color blindness gene on 1X chromosome. This is colorblind male, then this is again the carrier female, and this is colorblind male. So we can conclude that if a colorblind female is married to normal man, then all the females are carrier and all the males are colorblind. So next cross is between carrier female and normal male, and if this is the combination, what is the outcome? So this is the normal female, this is the normal male, then this is the carrier female, and this is the colorblind male. So we can conclude that if a carrier female is married to normal male, then the females, they are a half generation of females are normal and half generations are the carrier. So half of the girls are carrier and half of the girls are normal, and in case of boys, half of the boys are normal and half of the boys are colorblind. So this is the outcome in this cross. And the next cross is between colorblind female and colorblind male, and if this is the combination, then in next generation all the females and males, they are colorblind. So if a colorblind female is married to colorblind male, then all the children in the next generation, they are colorblind, whether they are male or female. So these are the 4 crosses which show the pattern of inheritance of color blindness in human beings. So this is all about the color blindness. So you have to practice these crosses between different combinations, and I have already sent you study material. Then you have to prepare notes of this topic, and then you have to go through and revise it, and if you find any difficulty, you can discuss those difficulties in my virtual class. Thank you.